You ever watch Dr. Charles Stanley? He's a doctor. He has his doctorate in teaching theology, which is that's like being a doctor at teaching. I think I'm right, which is basically being a doctor too. But seriously, yeah. Um, uh, t- so once a man named Thomas Edison. He said, "Today's nutritionist is tomorrow's physician." The healthier you live, the less you need a doctor. Okay. Forgive debt and trespass. You don't engage in violent conflict. You don't have a doctor putting your body back together because it got blown up fighting to maintain population numbers for the status quo for the people that call themselves wealthy. It's not that hard, guys. Okay. Now, here's a big thing. And then we have technology now that's supposed to be smarter than the humanoids, persons, right? And I say this in the gospel. They get the little gospel teachers that teach on the televangelist preachers saying Jesus needs more money to spread the gospels, right? But it's just live them, and then you don't need money. Okay. But once you, okay, understand what right from wrong, good from bad, truth from lie, okay, you can't go back to lying the next day. Okay, once you understand, oh boy, Now, Jesus, render unto Kaiser what is Kaiser's and render unto your faith in God, which is faithful. Okay. Now, you're going to have to give these wackadoodles money to survive with them until they accept the true faith of, Abraham, right? So, do you guys understand what the fuck is happening? Now, if there's, George Soros doesn't know who I am, he's okay. He's okay. He's ignorant. He's stupid. He's crazy. He's fine. We haven't collected evidence that says, hey, you're like Adolf Hitler and Goebbels and Himmler and all them. You're like Mussolini and Stalin and Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong, right? So George Soros doesn't know who I am. He's okay. Okay. If Mark Zuckerberg doesn't know who I am, the military really good at controlling Facebook and Las Cruces, then Mark Zuckerberg is fine. Okay. Mark Zuckerberg isn't guilty of not trying to make sure that the Messiah is known worldwide, and we're all living the faith of Father Abraham, right? So, as long as you don't know who I am, okay, and you're a multi-billionaire influencer, okay, you're okay. But if you know who the fuck I am and ignore me or laugh at me, okay, David Rockefeller just says, they'll gladly kill each other over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and Jesus die, poor saints. Life is eternal and grace is infinite. Okay. Wow. I can understand, being in the ancient Roman Empire, being scared of dying, watching Jesus get beat near to death, put him in a diaper, laugh at him. That was 3 hours. That was just 3 hours. Okay. But this little book of Job, Jonah thing with the Parsons kid, from July 19th, 1966 to May 10th, 2024, that's nasty. That's nasty, okay? People in the military sexually grooming and abusing his wives, manipulating them, and all the, there's one example, okay? There's this dude I used to work with at a place called Normative Services Institute in Wyoming, right? He's a Navy SEAL, right? And we worked with a bunch of kids from the Flint and Detroit area in Michigan, okay? A bunch of kids from the Sacramento, San Jose, and Stockton area in California, okay? Kids that I grew up with and knew a lot about their culture, okay? Nate Reynolds was born in Missouri and raised, and then went to Colorado State University and then became a Navy SEAL, right? And then lived in Wyoming. Okay. The only understanding of these kids' culture that Nate had was bigotry in the military, to all conform to military standards of behavior, which is kill poor people for rich people and obey orders and don't act like a dumbass, right? That was Nate Reynolds, right? And he's a trip, but he fucked himself real hard, okay? Because we had these kids, okay? We had a kid named Jalen. He was what they called a high status kid. He was a good basketball player from Flint, who was a young man who was a one of two brothers of a single mother, who was a wonderful lady. I really enjoyed her on their phone calls. We had to monitor the phone calls. And she was always very concerned about her son and make sure you do as you're told and you blah, 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 and And they had a part in there. What happened with Jalen, Nate called him on it, okay, is there was a gang banger that got Jalen, who was more charming and attractive, to talk a young girl into going someplace secluded. And then the gang was waiting and they did a gang rape on her. And Jalen got prosecuted because he's the one who lured her into the gang rape, because he felt he might be killed by the gang leader if he didn't perform that task, okay? And Nate said, you're a pussy, you shouldn't have done blah, 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 okay? Now, I had a wife, I came into one time and said, I have to have hope for these kids because my wife is diagnosed as bipolar, and I have to have hope that they can get through those kind of run to the bar, screw around activities and recover and be a responsible person. Well, Nate used that information to talk all the guys in our unit into picking up on my wife at the bar and having sex with me and then talking about it behind my back to all the kids on the units, right? Okay. How is that any different than what Jalen did? Okay. And we all know of Earl from the biker in Scottsdale when Earl was 18, okay, in Scottsdale, Arizona, the drug dealing biker, that Earl doesn't sit there and say, okay, I will rape Rodney with a pipe for you because I don't want you to kill me. No, Earl says, you try to do that to him and I'm going to kill you. Okay, so most of you are like Jalen. There are very few King Davids and Samsons in the world. Say, if you keep raping those little girls across the border, eventually I'm going to use your technology to hunt you down and kill your sorry ass. Okay. You guys want to still keep selling chicken and you make chicken? No. You prepare and sell chicken for bitch rape fuck money. Okay. Infinite Glory is the source of chicken. You don't make chicken. You prepare chicken and eat chicken and sell it for fuck money. How's that tangy sauce? Okay, guys? Hey, I got work to do. I gotta help children not be bitches like you fuckers on TV. I'm working here. If you're not paying attention, David Rocksteller says, fuck you, you deserve it, you're a sorry bag of shit. And right now, aren't you inclined to agree with him?